Wind Turbine Energy Project. Abstract: The purpose of the project was to learn to obtain electricity from wind and try to charge small devices through USB outputs with power obtained. This specific experiment was chosen to demonstrate how to obtain such energy through means of wind, and to be able to show individuals how to replicate the experiment. Whoever tries to do the experiment would need the proper materials, which roughly are the following: wind turbines, fans, or other source of wind, anemometer, voltmeter, USB charger, or LED lights to test electricity obtained. It requires following procedures to replicate the experiment and several tests, as follows: position the turbine in front of the fan so that the wind makes the blades turn and starts generating electricity. Start the fan at low level speed and test at all level speeds. Measure the wind speed obtained by reading numbers in the anemometer, then record the data. Also read voltage obtained on the voltmeter and record data. Lastly, the conclusion was the hypothesis was not supported because not enough energy was generated to charge small devices, only about 1.43 watts, enough to turn on a small LED light. Sadly, the desired motor parts for 24-volt motor proposed to build the turbine were unavailable, so a very small motor 4 volts was used. Turbine model was assembled, put to work and demonstrated on how to produce energy with wind. The recommendation is to designate more time to research and planning on how to acquire the best suitable parts as bigger motor and its parts, and produce more energy. Wind turbine energy initial project idea. The original idea or hypothesis for this science project was to make a small-scale model of a wind turbine capable of producing sufficient energy to be able to charge remote-controlled cars' batteries that uses AA rechargeable batteries. On your right, you will see drawing of the initial idea. On your far right, you will see wind turbine typical configuration. Wind turbine energy project initial draft. Wind turbine energy variables and constants. This experiment independent variable is the wind velocity, measures in MPS, which equals miles per second. This experiment dependent variable, on the other hand, is the output power, amount of electricity obtained, which was measured in watts. The constants in this experiment were the following elements: 6-blade wind turbine, and turbine, standard electric outlet, fan, hair dryer, anemometer, voltmeter, LED light. On your top right, you will see the anemometer. On your top left, you will see the voltmeter. On your bottom left, you will see the fans, and on your bottom right, you will see the USB charger. And to the right, you will see the turbine, list of materials, and the constants and measurement instruments. Wind turbine test 1. 1. Position your 3 blades turbine in front of fan so that the wind turns the blades and start generating electricity. Start the fans at speed level low. 3. Measure the voltage obtained by reading numbers in the voltmeter. 4. Measure the wind speed with anemometer. 5. Record data. Test 2. 1. Repeat all steps of test 1, but adjust the fans speed too high. 5. Record data. Wind turbine test 3. Replace the 3 blades on the turbine by 6 blades set. 2. Position your 6 blades turbine in front of fan so that the wind turns the blades and starts generating electricity. 3. Start the fans at speed level high. 4. Measure the voltage obtained by reading numbers in the voltmeter. 5. Measure the wind speed with anemometer. 6. Record data. Wind turbine test results. On your left, you will see the wind turbine with 3 blades uh, test results, and on the right, you will see the wind turbine with 6 blades test result. Conclusion: in this experiment, the hypothesis was not supported, which was enough energy will be obtained to charge small devices through USB outputs. There was energy obtained, but not enough to charge small devices, only enough energy to power a small LED light, so that it was capable of turning on. This was mostly because the small devices required 5 to 25 watts, but the maximum amount of watts achieved was 1.43 watts. It was not supported due to the fact that certain materials did not arrive on time. An example was the motor used 4 volts instead of originally desired 24-volt motor. To be able to improve this experiment, there should be a change in the materials that were used to conduct it, with the ports that were originally planned as 24-volt motor. Also, the wind source that was used didn't generate enough to produce energy, and only at the highest velocity of wind possible from the two 12-inch fans was a motor able to produce some sort of energy. Finding experimental errors were failure to produce enough wind velocity, failure to receive certain parts, and failure to get the motor to charge small devices. This experiment benefits the scientific community as people who learn to replicate it will be able to produce energy with wind, which is harmful to the environment. The world will be able to learn to generate electricity with wind and ditch such things as fossil fuels, which in case can stop global warming, assuming they reproduce the experiment with correct parts. The important things that have been learned in this experiment are the certain amount of energy that can be obtained with a certain amount of wind velocity, how to produce energy that does not harm nor affect the environment, and how to obtain energy through means of wind. Lastly, the next thing that should be tested should be using a higher source of wind combined with a higher potency motor to be able to generate more electricity, enough to charge bigger devices, and hopefully replicate to eventually be able to power electricity in a regular household. School science fair demonstration. LED light turned on.